This is what your camera will capture, straight out from camera, no grading. This is what you can actually achieve after this video. Do you want to achieve this film look for your image? I mean, who doesn't? So this is what I really summarized to be the best coloring workflow for me right now. And I want to share it with all of you in this video. Great value. Speak of value, this method I'm going to teach you today is also free as long as you have the Davinci Resolve Studio version, which I highly recommend. So what you can expect from this video? First, I will walk through how I grade this boring footage into something visually pleasing using my node tree workflow. Second, you can download this node tree in the link below and you can apply it right away. So without further ado, let's start. So the footage I'm going to use for this demonstration, as you can see it from here, is a sequence I filmed when I traveled back to China to visit my grandmother and grandfather and their morning routine. Let's hit gallery and import my node tree workflow. Hit import with output LUTs. Select this Kodak 2383 and hit import. Then we will hit apply grade. Here is the full node tree. By just applying that, you can see there is a sense of the look we are going for. We can hit full frame. This is the footage we applied the node tree. This is one before. Okay, let's only do it better from here. By the way, if you want a detailed breakdown of how I structured this node tree, you can check out the video right here. But for all of you who already know the basic of node tree, let's start. First, let's go to the noise reduction. If you zoom really close to the shots, there's a blue, there's a magenta blocks. It shouldn't have. The white wall should be white. After apply the node tree, you can see the color is getting worse. So first node tree, let's denoise that. Let's go to the motion effect panel. For that, I will select a middle number because this shot doesn't have a lot of movement. 3, I think works great. Let's drag it up the temporal threshold. You can see the noise start go away. And I will unlink them and lower down the gamma level a little bit, increase the chroma level a little bit more to find the balance I want. And then I will unlink the spatial threshold and just drag the chroma level up. Okay, now a white wall is a white wall magically. But if you don't have a good graphics card in your computer, this node will slow your editing workflow down. You can hit Ctrl D to turn it off. You can turn it on when exporting. So for the next one, highlight, I'm talking about this window here. I definitely want to keep more information on this window. So let's go to this highlight and lower the number down. I'll just go to 100 to see what we can get. Lower the highlight really down, we can see we have this building which we don't have it before. You know what? For this image, I will keep it at -100 and move on. For the shadow, right now we crushed a lot of details. So let's bring the shadow up. I'm talking about the clothes here. Before it's all black. Now after we lift a shadow up, we can see a little bit pattern. I feel like here should be a good balance. Okay, let's move on to the white balance. So believe it or not, this room is actually blue like this because it's really early in the morning and the sun haven't started coming out yet. But for demonstration, I will drag this white balance more towards the yellow side. Cancel it, the green out a little bit more. This before, this after. I feel like after it's more balanced, more neutral. So let's go with that. Then exposure. For exposure, I will use these 4 wheels to adjust the exposure. What I like to do is first, I will turn up the middle point. Then I will turn down the highlight to bring back the overexposed highlight a little bit more. Then I will usually bring down a little bit of shadow to bring back the contrast a little bit more. Finally, I will go up the overall exposure to bring the image to a balanced level. So I will do additionally adjustment here, lower down the highlight a little bit more, lift up the shadow a little bit more, and go down the shadow a little bit more. Let's do the full screen. After, before, after, before, after. And the contrast. For contrast, you can increase from here, just using this contrast section. Or what I like to do is to create an S-curve. For that, I'm going to do these 3 dots, enable splines. So you will get this leading line for the curve. I will drag it up. You can see we bring back a lot of contrast already, but the highlight blown out. I will lower down this part a little bit more and drag just the highlight part a little bit more to add in the contrast. Lift the shadow a little bit more, but add the contrast back by dragging it down. Okay, everything looks decent right now. See, we adding back more contrast, but most importantly, we still keep the information we want. Then saturation. Honestly, this image feel very saturated. I don't want to adjust it for now. I think the saturation is pretty good. Let's move on to this section, this fourth section. I call it the hook. What color scheme you want to have for this image? Let's go to this node first. This is a compound node. I name it Bleach Bypass. It's a hook very famous in the film industry. Let's turn it on, see what it does. So this is before. This is a Bleach Bypass hook. So what this Bleach Bypass hook will achieve is to add more contrast to your shot. As you can see, more contrasty. Also, it will desaturate your color a little bit more. The reason why it feels a little bit blue tint is because I customly made this notes more towards blue. Sometimes this will give you a surprise. But for this shot, since it's already blue enough, I will reset this blue tint by double click it and just have this contrast and desaturated look coming through, which I feel like it's great for this image. Maybe after adding that, I will bring up the mid-tone a little bit more to make the image exposure balanced again and lower down the highlights a bit more. I like it, and I will try to play around the key output here because I make it 0.2% on preset. I can drag it up to have more this bypass look, Bleach bypass looks. See, it's very desaturated. And think I will do something around 0.28%. This looks very good for me. Then I will move to these three parallel nodes. First one, I'm going with log shadow. For log shadow, we will go to this log wheel and just adjusting the shadow, see what color we want for the shadow. So for this one, I think we'll add more magenta to the shadow because I think it's right now it's too greenish looking. Let's see. Let's try to add more yellow. I like that. So for the highlight, this highlight looks very yellowish and greenish to me. I feel like the air is very dirty. So what I will do is to add more blue to the highlight. Let's see if we can achieve that. Drag it more towards the blue side. See the before, after. Yeah, I definitely like this highlight color better. I think this image balanced well because the blue sky will affect the room to be more bluish. So I think this is much balanced right now. So let's move on to the last node, the hook. So this node has two duties. First, adding more contrast. Second, create color separation. So to do that, I have a little trick I always does. Right click these nodes and select compensation mode and select soft light. Immediately, you will have this more contrasty image. It's a very easy way to add contrast back to the shots. And what I want to do is to go to this color wheel and to create separation you like. For example, the teal and orange look. I will drag the shadow more towards the teal side and drag the highlights more towards the yellow side. See? This color contrast is really strong. And what we will do is to dial the effect back. So we will go to this scope nodes and dial back the key output. See, this is before, this is after. I like it. And what I will do is maybe increase the shadow a little bit more. And what I will do is to adjust the exposure a little bit more. Maybe the mid-tone higher, lower down the highlight a bit more. Nice. I like the image. Very contrast and natural looking. Remember, the goal is not to add random color to the image. It's to make the scene speak to itself. The natural look is what we are aiming for, in my opinion. So let's move on to the next one, CST. Oh shit, I should explain this node right at beginning. So this node is what you are telling the system what camera you are shooting with and what color output you want to work with. Should I start over? No. Okay, so I'm shooting this footage with Panasonic Vlog and I'm outputting the color to be Rec 709 and the output gamma to be Cineon Film Log. The reason why I choose Cineon Film Log is this note. I should explain this note right at the beginning. This note is a LUT note. LUTs really optimize itself when the image source is a Cineon film log. So the LUTs I'm using is the LUTs that come with the Davinci. It's in here. LUTs film look Kodak 2383. I'm using this LUT. That's why when the node tree is imported, it gives the image a look already. Sorry, I should explain this at the beginning. By the way, this LUT will not work for every situation you have because this Kodak 2383 will give you a classic teal and orange look. Not every scenario fits to that vibe. So in the future video, I will teach you how to deal with those situations. But for now, I think this LUT works great on this footage. Let's keep on going. Next one, skin tone. This one doesn't reflect the skin tone really well because most skin are in the silhouette. But we do have this small arm here. So let's select this arm and see. Hit Shift H to see your selection. I think I will select the better part here. Here is a good selection for the arm, but we definitely have lots of unwanted stuff, which we will deal with later. So for this arm, let's zoom in. This arm is more, how to say, too unsaturated. No blood flowing in the arm, I think. So for that, let's give the arm a little bit more yellow, a little bit more red before, after. I think I like that. But remember, we have lots of unwanted stuff selected. Let's use this masking tool to just select the arm part. Open up the fading a little bit more, feathering a little bit more. Okay, I think this is good selection. Let's move the shot to the beginning and start tracking forward. The tracking works pretty good. That's why I love Davinci Resolve so much, because it makes the color grading so easy. I mean, I can just go with this. Hit Ctrl H to see the selection. Almost every arm has it. Let's go to the frame. Let's make the adjustment a little more to the arm. See the selection over here. Okay, I like it. The selection works great. But we will refine the selection by going through this selection page. Go to clean black. Let's use this blur radius to make the edge looks more natural. And go to denoise, panel 2, denoise. Let's clean up a bit more of the selection. I think right now, see after, before, I think this one looks great. And then I'll have this note for the gips. This one, the gips is on the shadow side, so we don't need to deal with it. If it does, just select your gip and change the color, make it more pop or something to your liking. Then the last section. This section is really how you transform your digital image to a film look magical. So let's go to the first node. Let's hit Ctrl D to open it. See the icon over here? It's the same icon on this side. So I already set to the 0.48. Originally it's 0.5. When you lower it down, it sharpens your footage. So I like it to be 0.48 to just add a little bit, see the before, see the after. Just add a little bit sharpness to your shots, make it more crispy. Then let's move on to the glow. Let's Ctrl D to open it. What does glow does it to bloom your highlight a bit more, to blend your image better. But it's definitely too strong. Let's go to this threshold to drag to the right side. We want just the glow to happen to the highlight, but not too much. I think right here, hit before, after. This one is good. Let's go to this grain, lower it down a little bit more. Gamma, lower it down a little bit more. Before, after. But I think this glow, it makes the highlight pop. Audience will get the sense of where the light is coming from to illuminate the scene. So I think right here is great, but maybe too much. Let's dial back the key output a little bit more. I think 0.6%. Let's hit full screen. 0.6% is great. We still keep the information we have, but we make the highlight glow. Then let's move to Halation. So let's turn it on. Let's zoom it closely to here. What does Halation does is to see there's a high contrast area, black and white. The halation, if I turn on the strength here, see the halation will blend the edge of the high contrast area better. Obviously, this is too much. Dial back the strength. I will lower the saturation. Naturally, it will have this red glow on the edge. I will dial back the saturation to make it less obvious and maybe lower down gamma to make the effect very subtle. when you look closely to the high contrasty area, you will see this effect. It makes your digital image better by blending the edge together. Let's leave that on. I like it. Then let's move to the color adjustment. For that, let's go to this 3 panel: hue versus hue, hue versus saturation, and hue versus gloom. For this image, I really think the color looks great. I think the red and the blue are too pop, in my opinion. So I will go to this hue versus saturation. Select the color you want to work with and lower down the saturation. I think right here, the blue makes more sense right now. And also for the red one, I think red is or something around here. Is this range? See the cap over here? If I lower it down, yeah, make it less pop. This is after, this is before. Not too much. Color grading is about subtleness. Little detail matters. Then the second last note, grain. For now, we have a really clean image because we denoise the shots. But the real film look is to have grain on your shots. Let's zoom closely to this area and see after I turn it on. See? Very clean looking noise. When I play it back, you can see the noise right happening here. Very pleasing to the eyes. Grain is what I love about film look. I might increase the grain size a bit more. Let's keep it here and moving on. So last note, any additional adjustment still want to make? For me, honestly, not too much. I will show you a little trick I usually do, but not every time. I will hit Alt-O to add additional notes. This is reverse notes of the previous one. See, nothing is here. When I create a masking on the image, it will create a reverse mask for the previous one. So what I want to do is to get the audience attention to where I want audience to see. For this image, I will create a note around this area, the cutting board area. And for the reverse masking, I will lower down the midtone a bit more. For the masking area, maybe I will drag up the highlights a little bit more. So when we go to full screen, before, after, our attention are dragging into the area of this cutting board, which I think is great for this image. And let's compare to the image beforehand. I mean, it looks okay when we don't have anything else to compare. Now your image will look more filmic. The cover pops out more. The contrast is there. The cutting section is popped. Okay, I like it. Next section is to copy this same cover node tree to everything else. I can tell you that it will never be okay to apply the same node tree to everything. But with this node tree structured, you don't need to change a lot to match the shots. So for that, let's select the footage you want to cover it. Hit Shift and select the end footage. And then use the middle of your mouse to hit this image you want to match to and hit replace. Suddenly everything else will have the same cover treatment that you have for that one. I can already tell that we need to do a lot of adjustment. For example, this shot is definitely too blue in my opinion. Let's drag the cover more towards the yellow, more towards the pink side, and lower down the shadow a little bit more because the shadow makes the image looks very fake. And use the exposure mode to adjust the balance of the shot. See, now these two shots matches together very well. Obviously, this masking, you need to recreate this masking node to bring it to a right position. So same node tree, you can just adjust the beginning part to match the color. So very easy. For example, this one, the sun starting coming out, so the sky is more blown out. Let's see if we can bring back the exposure a little bit more. Very barely. Let's open up midtone and lower down the shadow. And this one is very bluish. This one is because the daytime is changing. If we want to match it, let's move this section more towards blue. So these two shots match better. Obviously, this is more silhouetted. So what you can do is to lower down exposure a little bit more. These two will match perfectly. If this is a hero shot, you want to match it. Okay, the same thing, I don't want to explain it again. This shot is different because we have the middle section as a kitchen, outside as a morning sun coming out. It's very yellowish, doesn't look balanced to me. So what I can do, for example, let's create 8 additional nodes. I will use select mask to select this area and drag it more towards the blue side and lower down the saturation. And I will create another mask for this side as well. Feather it out. See the before after. And I think I will lower down the exposure for this too. Lower down the highlight as well. Before, after. Now our attention are more dragged towards the middle. And you can hit Alt O to reverse selection of this part and do your tint adjustment here. We can make it more blue, lower down its exposure, lower down the mid-tone, lower down the highlight. Yeah, do your adjustment here. Then your image will look much balanced to the image before. Let's move on to this shot. This shot is obviously overexposed. I shot this without showing the window, so I don't need to retain a lot of highlight. I exposed to the right more than other shots. So you can just go to the exposure and lower down overall exposure here. Maybe lower down the highlights, lower down the black. Play around these 4 wheels, you can get to something that is more matched to a previous shot. Same with this one. If I copy everything to this, well, this great. Yeah. So let's move on to something completely different. For example, this shot, my father is sitting here. For me, it's pretty nice shot because the sun started coming into the room. We have this section over here and the people is here. But it's definitely too yellowish for me, especially if we move to this shot. What we will do is adjust white balance a little bit more, make it more towards blue. For the exposure, I think I will drag the mid-tone up a little bit more, reduce the highlight a little bit more, play around the shadow area and the overexposure. I think I can just go with this footage. What really I did is just adjusting exposure and white balance. That's it. We can copy this setting and move to a front lit one. My father is cleaning his shoes and ready for work. This one is definitely more too yellowish, so I will drag this white balance even more. But before that, let's lower down the exposure to have a properly lit shot. I think this shot is nicely exposed. For the white balance, let's move towards the blue side a little bit more. Right here, I think this one looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty true to my eye. This is what I remember when sun is coming in. What I will do is to add a little bit of green back to the trees. So let's go to the color adjustment. Select the saturation here and select the yellow and the green section. See if that's a green. Yeah, so I'll add more saturation to the leaf, make it more green. That's too much. It's very fake right now. So just a touch greener to give the image much more lively look because it's green. Who don't like green color? Okay, that's that. You can copy this setting to everything else. This is me eating with my grandfather. We have a white shot over here and a little bit medium shot over here. Let's copy this look and see what we got. Yeah, it looks really natural to me. See the smoke from the kitchen makes the light beam shown up. It's really nice. Yes, I'm eating rice for my breakfast. I don't want sugar cereal and de-fat milk. This is what I want to eat. Okay, back to cover. I'm hungry right now. So this shot is very balanced in my opinion. I don't want adjusting more. But what you can do is see the black here is very lifted, which is okay for this scenario. But if you want to adjusting that to add more contrast, you can go to this log shadow, go to this log section and bring down the shadow side just a touch to make this shadow more deep looking. See, before it's very faded. Now it's much more true to the eye. Black should be black, right? I like it. I like it. Let's keep that way. And I will show you what I'm eating. This is what I'm eating. And I will make this mask right at this, my favorite dish, egg fried tomato. Tomato fried egg. I think this one is called egg fried tomato. You know why? Because we have more egg than the tomato. If a dish is called tomato fried egg, then we have more tomato than eggs. Okay, so here you have it. It's very easy to apply and it's very easy to match the shots using this node tree. So don't forget to download it in the link below and consider subscribing for more contents coming. Because next one, I'm planning to do a more, easier way and more fun way to turn your footage into film look epicness. So stay tuned and I will see you in the next one. Peace.